They have gone out for the sake of the names, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. Therefore, we ought to support people like these, that we may be fellow workers of the truth. It is Friday, the 24th day of November 2023. Clive Walsh here, encouraging you to join me as we read our devotional thought for today with expectancy that God will speak to us right where we have need of this very day. And it's entitled, Your Primary Calling, Faithfulness. Once again, Your Primary Calling, Faithfulness. And the verse today is 3 John chapter 7 and 8, and it reads, They have gone out for the sake of the names, accepting nothing from the Gentiles. Therefore, we ought to support people like these, that we may be fellow workers of the truth. That's 3 John verses 7 and 8. Alistair Begg writes, About 10 to 15 miles off the south of France lie a clutter of land masses called Channel Islands. In 1940, Germany invaded and occupied them. Among the channels the German built on one of them, Jersey, there's a plaque that detailed the generous labor of a few women from the occupied island who bravely sent mittens, socks, flying helmets, sweaters, and more to the United Kingdom's Royal Air Force. Because of their generosity, as some brave airmen flew against the German airplanes to resist Nazi Germany's attempt to take over Europe, they were warmed by the products of those women's compassion. You might ask, what's the big deal? These women were just knitting. But try telling that to an airman who had to brave the freezing temperatures in the heat of battle. For him, there was nothing insignificant about socks and mittens. These women from Jersey made a significant contribution to the Allied war effort by meeting a serious need. In this sense, without ever flying a plane, they were fellow workers with the RAF airmen. The New Testament speaks over and over again of believers laboring alongside each other as fellow workers. In Philippians chapter 2 verse 25, Paul even speaks of Epaphroditus as his fellow soldier. The Apostle Paul was arguably the most capable missionary and church planner who ever lived, and yet he could not have successfully completed anything without such fellow workers for the truth, as John calls them. Every single one of us in the body of Christ has an important function. In word terms, some of us are pilots, others of us are mechanics, and some are knitters. And still others of us may be sheep farmers who provide the wool. Perhaps society would have us grade these contributions, creating a heresy of sorts. Perhaps you are tempted to think that your contributions are insignificant. But this is not how things work in the economy of God. As Paul wrote, the parts of the body that seem to be weaker are indispensable, and on those parts of the body that we think less honorable, we bestow the greater honor. 1 Corinthians 12, verses 22 and 23. God chooses whom He will to fulfill every function of His body, and what matters to Him most is that you are faithful wherever He has placed us. Stay faithful, and the Lord will strengthen you for whatever role He's calling you to, whether knitting or flying for the glory of Christ. Do what you can, for what you can do, He will use. The primary calling, faithfulness, our devotional thought for today, for this 24th day of November 2023. And those of you reading through the scriptures in a year, your assignment today is 2 Chronicles chapter 10, 11 and 12, and the Gospel of Luke chapter 6 verses 27 through 49. Clive Walsh here. May the Lord richly bless you.